Behave, it's me, Baron Bedsores. Now then, it's the Baron. So glorious Goodwood's on the horizon, and for me it's the best flatmate throughout the flat season. And I do have my reasons for liking it so much, and I do look forward to it coming round every year. So the chances are, as the festival gets closer, you are going to get some more uploads. The first selection I'm going to put out for Glorious Goodwood is in the Goodwood Cup, and at 13-2 best with Betway is going to be Flying Officer. Now I have selected Flying Officer on two separate occasions, and the first time was in the Yorkshire Cup in a 1 mile 6 affair, where if the horse takes part in the race, for me, it wins it no problem at all. Again, that's just my own personal opinion, but unfortunately, Frankie Dettori loses the mount going to post, so the horse don't take part in the race and we'll never know, and we get our money back as a non-runner. Next time out, Flying Officer turns up at the Ascot Gold Cup in the 2 mile 4 affair, and I did do an upload for it, and I did suggest doing it each way. When I went through the form for that race, I did think Flying Officer could give Order of St George a bit of a battle, maybe nick the race by the skin of its teeth. And turning for home, if you watch the footage, you would have thought Flying Officer would at least got in the each way places, but too far from the line, Flying Officer starts fading, and obviously as the line gets closer and closer, Flying Officer ends up finishing 6th just out the each way places. Flying Officer has been hindered by winning a Group 2, especially when he turned up to the Cigaro, where he was half a length back in third, giving a £5 pull to the first two home. I was there that day, and what I witnessed was a battle-hardened horse, an horse what was trying to run ungamely, even though it was giving clumps of weight all round. And it was the same sort of scenario in the Ascot Gold Cup, where a furlong out, even though the horse was clearly beat, Flying Officer was trying to rally. John Gosden has finally found a rate for Flying Officer, where the main principals at the head of the market are all going to be running off level weights. Now I do realise that there is still 24-25 horses entered in the race, but come race day there's not going to be nearly that amount of runners. I do expect Big Orange, Clever Cookie and a few others in the race to make a fist of it, but off level weights at this distance, if there's a battle to be had at the business end of the race, there's only one winner for me. So the selection at 15-2 each way with Betway best is going to be the battle-hardened Flying Officer. I will be having another side bet in the race. Now this is small stake, a few shilling, nothing fancy, and a horse I personally think if it turns up to the race it'll give a decent account of itself. Now this horse has got options elsewhere and it might not make it to race day, but if it does turn up, the price and offer I don't think you're going to get on the day of the race. At 11-1 each way, best with Betway, I'm going to have a few quid each way on Trip to Paris. Now Trip to Paris has been unfortunate in the same regard as Flying Officer, where it's turned up to races and it's had to concede clumps of weight here and there. Also, I personally think Trip to Paris hasn't fulfilled its full potential, and I do think it's slightly better than the bare form what's on offer. If we swing in for home and Trip to Paris is there and thereabouts, I do think it'll run into an each way slot, and the chances are, come the day of the race, I will be doing a reverse forecast with Flying Officer and Trip to Paris. So there are your selections, 15-2 each way, Flying Officer, best with Betway, and a few shilling, nothing fancy, on a Trip to Paris, 11-1 each way, and again that's with Betway. Find your comments and let me know what you're going for, and I'll leave it for now. Cheers for listening, the Baron.